Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Richard. Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
I'm going to, okay? Okay. That was a greatest night in the history of television. Okay.
Let's go.
Okay.
Shalom, family. Most High Christ bless. Officer Benjamin. We out here. IUIC cuts from the street. Topic of discussion today is going to be Will Smith and Chris Rock. I know y'all seen it. I know y'all heard about it. So we're going to engage, get the minds of the people, and see their thoughts and opinion.
Hey, shalom, Israel, Most High in Christ bless. Like Officer said, we out here to try to gauge the minds of the people, kind of see where they at, see what kind of feedback they could give us, and hopefully we can compel some to come in with the understanding that we able to bring out.
A lot of our people have a lot of opinions about the situation. Many of them might end up aligning with the Bible. Some of them probably won't. We might end up showing a few people. Maybe we can go into the scriptures. If anybody has an ear to let them hear, they might find out that the Bible actually has something to say about the situation as well.
So we're going to see how it turns out. Keep y'all updated. Shalom. Shalom, family. Most High Christ bless. My name's Benjamin, and I have here with me.
I'm Keith. Hey.
Okay, I'm chilling with the OG Keith.
Miss Latoya.
Miss Latoya, all right.
Deshaun. All right, Deshaun.
Jeremy.
Coral. Miss Shanique.
Miss Shanique, and we're here discussing the topic dealing with Will Smith and Chris Rock, right?
Have you seen it?
I saw it, yes.
And it's heavy right now in the world where it's like if you can't see it, it's somewhere possible you had to hear about it. So after seeing it, now I'm gonna ask you, are you married?
Yes, I am.
How long you been married?
2 years.
2 years, okay, all right. Well, put yourself in his shoes. If somebody was to disrespect your wife out publicly, would you go ahead and handle that the way Will Smith did?
If that was your husband and you were dealing with a particular situation and somebody made a joke dealing with that, how would you want him to react?
No, under the circumstances, because the guy was over there, they were there. Violence is, let me be frank, I was disappointed to see two black men like engaging in violence on TV, two prominent black men. You know, it's inappropriate, and I mean, I could go on Hood, he should have handled it. I think that was inappropriate. They had a certain stage where they had looked upon, you know, so I didn't agree with that.
Definitely he needs to be put in his place. As far as slapping him, getting up, I feel like that was not too much, but it was a bit of, how can I put it? It just didn't go right with the award ceremony and just the environment we was in, but having to talk with him afterwards or, you know, put him in his place after the fact, that's the go for me.
How would you have handled it if you were in Will's seat that day?
Well, at the end of the day, he's a comedian, so if you can't handle it, you know, you kind of got to get out the kitchen. But it really didn't seem like it had any ill intent. But me personally, like, forget the context, I probably would have been like, maybe made a little hand gesture. I'd be like, you know, calm down a little bit, like, you know, let's worry about other things right now. But I mean, he laughed, so it's kind of like he's confusing. So it's kind of like either you're gonna be on this side or you're gonna be on the other side. It's like, what you gonna do? So that shows the emotional, the emotional warfare inside of him, because like you laugh, but then you do something so out of extreme. So it's like you gotta find that medium.
Y'all couple?
Yeah.
If someone was to make that joke against your girl, how would you want your man to respond?
I definitely would. I would want him to respond like in a casual manner, you know. I mean, I would want him to, like, I guess, stand up for me, but I wouldn't expect him to go off and like punch someone or like be like do like a whole scene about it. You know what I mean? Just kind of like I don't know. Just yeah, I wouldn't want him to like just make a huge scene about it.
Overall, how do you think that it's affected the black community?
Well, I think it adds to the stereotype of, people think we're angry. People think we resolve everything with violence. So it didn't help that case at all. That's what I think.
I think for racists outside of us, it may have looked negative, but for those that are black, I feel like some of them feel like, yay, he went up and put that man in his place. But it also just messes up our black community because it's like a black on black crime in a sense. So it kind of does look bad on us, but it also just represents how he supported his wife, even though, he went about it the wrong way. He could have went about it a different way.
The black community, how has it affected the black community? That's a question I have never actually even thought about.
I definitely think that as well, but I think Chris, he probably kind of balanced the fields a little bit just with that stereotype, just because like you have Will, who just acted out in violence and completely being like the angry black man. But Chris Rock, he decided he composed himself. He didn't really come back at him angrily. He didn't solve anything with violence or anything. He kind of went against those stereotypes. So it's like back and forth, It's almost like a balancing thing. I want to see it as, just because Will did something stereotypical, but then Chris didn't. So.
Do you feel like, in a way, with Chris Rock and Will Smith, do you feel like being who they are, does that affect at any way, shape, or form the black community?
I think in a sense of that there's others that's not like us that looked at that like, even with money, look at them, they all the same. So I kind of look at that kind of encourages like for us to be brutalized, because it's like, well, they don't care about each other, so why should we care? Let's keep brutalizing them.
You think they got a job to do as black figureheads or black celebrities per se? You think they have a job to represent the black culture or the black race in a positive light?
Perhaps they do. I think that everyone has to, in their own journey, decide what their purpose is in life. It doesn't necessarily have to be directive to blacks. I am a black person. I support black people. I also support other cultures too. My purpose here in life is not just for black people. And so whatever the Smith family's purpose is, whether they're walking in that right now or not, I would not necessarily say that they have this responsibility to really just push black people.
So do you think that Will and Jada's marriage, the way that it's set up, has anything to do with the way that he rolls or moves about certain situations like that incident with Chris Rock?
Yeah, it's kind of like he's yeah, I feel like the base of their relationship was never really strong, and it was kind of like more give on his side, and it's like now you're finding out who they really are. So it's kind of it's sad to see him go out like that, but he's kind of just a product of like that kind of relationship.
When you say that kind of relationship, you mean what?
Where the woman's in control.
Now with Chris Rock, on Chris Rock's stance, do you feel like the way he handled it, how do you feel about how he handled that situation?
Properly, and he showed, because they approached him, from what I understand, about having him arrested. He said no. And I get it. Even though he was embarrassed and humiliated, I think he took I think that was appropriate. I mean, that was kind of like to not let it escalate, you know what I mean? I don't think that's an admittance of his wrongness, but I think he took the black man's side. I'm not going to have a brother arrested.
Okay, that's a good point as well.
Do you think Chris Rock handled himself in an appropriate manner by not coming back with violence to Will Smith?
Yeah, most definitely. Because you could see his body language and his face. He wanted to say something, but he didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. He composed himself pretty well and like kept going with the show, I guess, and I don't he managed it well, I think. Like he just didn't really, you could tell through his body language that he was kind of upset about the whole situation that happened, but he definitely handled it in a much better way than like Will did, instead of just like coming at him.
Do you think that Will Smith's actions at the award show were warranted?
I believe they were wrong.
I would say yes and no.
Okay, why would you say that?
I think there's a different way to handle it, but I think he kind of hit his breaking point, you know?
It was just like a buildup. Like, he got sick of it. Like, you're going to stop talking about my wife. Because you'll never know what she deals with at home. You know what I'm saying? What he has to personally deal with when it comes to the situation.
He wasn't wrong for the intention to protect his wife, his name, but he could have handled it a little more in a stable manner.
More stable?
Yeah, like that was a little emotional.
And he just, at that moment, he couldn't take it anymore.
Okay, what would you say?
I agree. I mean, like, I get it. He kind of just he was pissed off and everything, and like it probably was his breaking point at that point. So, I mean, he could have not gone up and punched him, or like not punched him, but slapped him. But I guess just in the moment for him, it was more like, I'm gonna do what's right in my head, instead of just like I'm gonna like make sure I'm doing what's right for the people and stuff. You know what I mean?
He does have an image that he has to preserve himself because he is a popular person. He's an example for a lot of people. So there is a way he should have preserved himself. But then again, he's still human. So, you know, just like me, if I get built up and I'm tired, I get frustrated sometimes. I may do stuff that's not appropriate.
Okay, so you said he hit his breaking point, right? So how would you say he should have handled himself?
I think he could have, talked to him afterwards, because it's not like they don't know each other.
Okay.
They could have just had a conversation afterwards about it. That's how I think he could have handled it.
At least smack him backstage. You know what I mean? Like at least smack him real quick backstage. But it's like either way it would have been filmed. It's just like we're not in a movie. This is real life. You know, things happen. You gotta let it go. And yeah, that's it.
Okay, what would you say?
Yeah, I agree. He could have talked to him afterwards. I mean, Chris Rock is also like a comedian, so I mean, they're always trying to push the limit with things whenever they're making jokes and whatnot. So I think he should have maybe taken that into consideration and like talk to him afterwards, you know, just kind of clear the waters, make sure like, hey, just make sure not to like talk shit like that again.
Chris Rock hasn't responded yet. He did a show afterwards, and his ticket sales are going up high, and he received a standing ovation, and his only comment he made was he's still processing of what's going on. When he responds to the matter, how do you think he should respond? So what do you think he should say?
Just be honest. I mean, I don't know. I can't say what he should say. Just be honest about it. You know, how he felt about it, and that's it. Just be honest.
Okay, all right. Well, we are a Bible-based group, so and you gave really good answers. So if you don't mind, I'd like to enlighten you with some scriptures, if you don't mind. Okay. All right. Let me get Romans 12 and 17. Have a seat. Let me get Romans 12 and 17. Because with the answers that you gave, they were biblical, whether if you knew it or not.
Okay. Romans chapter 12, verse 17. Recompense to no man evil for evil.
So recompense no man evil for evil. Being that Jada has alopecia, it's a touchy subject. So, you know, even with jokes, we got to be mindful of what we say, because they could offend one of another, whether if we're laughing or not, or if it's funny or not. To her, it felt it was an evil matter. And it says recompense no evil for evil, because after that, Will just went ahead and slapped him. Right? Keep going.
Provide things honest in the sight of all men.
Provide things honest in the sight of all men, because if you've seen the video, Will Smith started to laugh. So his first reaction wasn't to slap him in the face. So he did that and to defend his woman. But did he really want to slap Chris Rock?
I don't know. Yeah, because he seemed kind of like he laughed, and even when he was going up, he was smiling. I don't know. I'm ambivalent. I'm not sure.
Okay. Next verse.
If it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men.
If it be possible, live peaceably above or amongst all men. So he really didn't have to go up there and slap him like that in front of the community, you know?
Give me Proverbs 14 and 29, because we're out here asking people what they thought about the situation. We're not necessarily asking who is at fault per se, because there are objective rights and wrongs on both parts, right? Proverbs 14:29. Watch this. Watch what God has to say about our behavior. Read.
Proverbs chapter 14 and verse 29. He that is slow to wrath is of great understanding.
It says he that is slow to wrath has understanding. Why? Because they know that their actions could lead to something that is consequential, right? Read.
But he that is hasty of spirit.
He that's hasty, because he got up pretty quick and just smacked him and sat back down. Did you watch it? Did you watch it?
I just seen little clips.
You seen little clips. So he was hasty. Read.
Exalteth folly.
It exalteth folly, meaning it exalts foolishness. Now he's the subject of jokes. Now he's the meme king. Everybody's making memes about Will Smith because of his actions, right? So the scriptures tell us that if we're slow to wrath, we could prevent that from happening. We could prevent foolishness from coming out.
1 Corinthians chapter 11. Could I show you something about the way that the Bible has actually set up the order? Yeah. Can we read this right to you? Listen to this.
1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ.
So the head of every man is Christ. You got that? Yeah.
And the head of the woman is the man.
So the woman's head, her leader, is supposed to be the man. That's what God said. Yeah. But in Will and Jada's relationship,
she's the dominatrix.
She's the what?
She's the dominant one.
She's the dominant one.
Mentally, in a way, you can see he's broken, following her like a puppy.
Oh man, following her like a puppy.
Sirach 8 and 3.
Sirach chapter 8, verse 3. Strive not with a man that is full of tongue.
So strive not. Don't go back and forth with the man that's full of tongue. He's a comedian. So his job is to tell jokes. So you don't want to fight with a man like that. Keep going.
And heap not wood upon his fire. Just not with a rude man.
Just not with the rude man, meaning don't joke with the rude man. Keep going.
Lest thy ancestors be disgraced.
Your ancestors will be disgraced. Like, it plays effect on the black community. You know, where it's like two black men, they can't act civilized in the Oscars. You know, so now he got banned for 10 years. They want to up the security now off of this incident. Now, last thing, let me get Matthews 18 and 15. So the last thing, as far as how Will Smith should have handled it, according to the Bible, if he had an issue.
Matthew chapter 18, verse 15. If thy brother shall trespass against thee.
So if he had a problem with his brother, this is what he should do.
Go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone.
Will Smith should have addressed it, Chris Rock, one-on-one alone. You see, and that's what the Bible says, and a lot of people don't know.
Matthew chapter 5, verse 14. Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on an hill cannot be hid.
We are the light of the world. That's dealing with your so-called Israelites nowadays, your Black, Hispanics, Native Americans, that we are the light. We are supposed to put out the light where people can see, and we're supposed to be a good example to show those around us how we're supposed to move and how we're supposed to act. So before you move up and do anything, you have to think of how people are going to perceive me. And that's just one point I wanted to bring out to you. But, hey, sis, I do appreciate you dealing with us. Do you have any last comments before we go out?
Will, you're still a representation of the kingdom. We still love you. And we hope that the people understand what it is to be a person of God, to give you a second chance, because you deserve it.
All right. All praise. Appreciate it, sis. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. I appreciate your time. Any last thoughts? Anything you want to say?
No, I appreciate it. I give good praise to you guys, young brothers, and you're dedicated and you know your business. So I appreciate that. There's no coincidence that this happened.
All praises to the Most High. With that, we say shalom. Shalom, family. Most High Christ bless. We back again. We had a good feedback. As you can see, the older crowd has a different approach than the younger generation. But at the end of the day, we hope that you was all edified and you seen, you got to experience with us. Many more footage cuts to come.
Appreciate you. Hey, shalom, Israel. We had some good reactions from the people. They had some input, some more than others, but again, it was a good turnout. Hopefully, there was a lot that came out that y'all was able to glean from and to learn from, and just to see what the other people in your community think as well about these topics that are affecting us today.
Yeah, we're not disconnected from the people. We're keeping our ear to the streets. We're seeing what the people have to say. Many diverging opinions. Some of the things were biblical. Other people had opinions that were a little bit less so, but they ended up getting edified anyway. So we brought the scriptures out. We got to figure out what the people's minds were on the situation. So it was good. Very beneficial. All praises.
All right, with that, it's a wrap. Shalom.